inspiration for this gangster nation in this hydration situation. That's the realization. And this is my occupation. All right, here's the situation. We got Dr. Chow up in the building right now. We're going to have to bring him in. I think it's this way. Let's bring in Dr. David Chow. We're going to chop up some wood, right? Is it Tuesday? Yes, it's Therapy Tuesday. What up, Doc Chow?
How goes it? I love your previous segments, kids, sports, and everything. I'm living it a little bit.
Oh, tell me a lot about it. What are you living through, and what's the experience like?
Well, first of all, my boy-girl twins are 11, so a little different age. But you're so right about DNA. Look, my kid likes basketball. He's not going anywhere in basketball. He's not going to be tall enough, big enough, fast enough. Okay. And, in these little league baseball things, you got kids anointed at the age of 8 to be all-stars. Well, they're good at 8 because they love playing ball in the backyard. And my son wasn't that good at 8 because daddy didn't play with him enough in the backyard. He was working. But guess what? People catch up. And all these kids haven't even hit puberty yet. You're trying to throw curveballs, and your arm and slot angle and your height are going to change. I mean, everything is going to change a lot. And, where I live in La Jolla Youth Baseball, it's a great league. But I'd hate to tell the parents something. The parents in athletics will be more successful than the group of kids. I mean, we got David Ben, Chris Dielman, Ben Grieve, former professional athletes with kids there. There ain't going to be 3 kids coming out of La Jolla Youth Baseball that are going to turn pro. And as far as college goes, it's great. You get a college scholarship. We all know baseball, you get like a 1/10 or 1/18 scholarship in baseball. Basketball may be a little different, et cetera, but you got to have all the skills. But if you put all that time instead of traveling to different states and different stuff and different money and saved it and invested it or worked a second job with that extra time, you'd pay for college, right? I mean, in terms of what's happening. My son loves sports. I'm not pushing him. Last year, All-Stars in the summer, we're up in Anaheim driving kids around, 3 or 4 of his friends around, and we're right next to Disneyland. And I said to the group of kids, hey, guess what today? We're not going to play the baseball game. We're just going to go to Disneyland's. 3 of the 4 kids cheered and said, let's go. My son said, no, I want to play baseball, right? And so to me, I'm trying to encourage my son because he wants to do it, but I'm not trying to kill him either. Like he says, arm was a little sore. I was like, shut it down, right? Because my goal is this. Here's what's different. I'm old, okay? I want my son in high school to play a sport, and when he's a senior, a team sport. No offense to cross country, a walk-on, no-cut sport that's more individual. I want my son to play a team sport. And when he's a senior, he doesn't need to be a starter. He doesn't need to be a star. But boy, when they have a party, he better be included in the planning and what's happening. And nowadays, there aren't a lot of team sports that you can do that without playing before high school. You can't do it in basketball, obviously. You can't do it in baseball. You can't do it in soccer. You can't do it in lacrosse. You can't do it out here in Southern California in water polo, right? I mean, I walked on in high school, played basketball, never played before, and played water polo, never played before. You can't do that anymore, and so that's the reason for kids looking at it.
That's part of it. Like it's really almost a syndicate. It's almost like, and look, the NBA, NFL is not a part of this, but they know it all lands with them. It's kind of like with colleges. We can get into that right now. Columbia, Harvard. They're not a part of saying, hey, that elementary down in the street that costs $50,000 a year, you should go there. But that's part of the sale of that $50,000 elementary school. Oh, well, our alums end up going to places like Columbia and Harvard. And then you can say the same about all these AAU teams. And then next thing you know, your kid is just like in the 9th grade, say, hey, we got a nice football team. I want to sign up. And then he shows up and these kids are looking at him like, you just now starting? It's too late. Coach already recruited us. I came from out the state, some of us out the country. I've seen it all types of levels. But let's get back to that Columbia Harvard, because a lot of protests right now on our campuses. I thought Columbia handled it horribly. Like, we didn't get in front of it. We didn't show strict leadership. I love what Stanford did. They wrote a note. Dear protesters, you got this time, you got this place. After that, there are consequences. What do you feel about these protests and where things are?
Look, look, everyone has a right to speak up and free speech, but this disruption, I think, is terrible. Look, look at your alma mater, Columbia. There are a group of kids there that lost freshman year to COVID. And we all know freshman year is special. And now they're going to lose graduation at Columbia. That's just flat wrong. Those are life memories and experiences and things that these kids earned. The right to go to Columbia and experience a freshman year and a right to graduate and with a ceremony and celebration. They've been robbed of that. Focus on where the energy should be. And, you know, look, it's a complex issue. I don't pretend to know it all. But, you know, this whole thing's gone out of over control. And honestly, both sides. At Harvard, I saw this morning, there's an encampment in Harvard Yard. And there are now patriots and people trying to disrupt them and so forth. And so they're now blaring the Star-Spangled Banner at night into Harvard Yard so that the protesters can't sleep. I get it aggravates the protesters, but not everyone knows this. But Harvard Yard is all freshman housing except for 2 buildings. What's special is Harvard Yard. Harvard is a school that all the freshmen live within a one or 2 block proximity in Harvard Yard. So now you're blasting the Star-Spangled Banner where students are. It's like, gosh, you guys don't, I mean, it's just craziness. Look, I'm not, you know, there's a role and place for things and free speech. I get it all, but let's not disrupt the kids, you know, from all of this and so forth.
I can hear it in your voice, and you're different than me. I'm past the point of no return. I don't have pleasantries for things that are unpleasant. I don't have PC talk anymore. Look, you know you can protest, and you know you can peacefully protest, and you know what you're doing right now is not a peaceful protest. So now there are consequences. Get their asses. That's how I feel, and that's how I wish we all felt, because then you will have bold lines. You don't let the unruly rule. And it's funny, everyone's group text, because I'm a part of about 38 of them, say the same thing. And then I watch them when they have platforms, the few that do, come out and say, hey guys, you know, if you could, would you please move your encampment? Like, what? No, get them. Like, simple as that. And we're not getting you. We're not getting you because of what you're protesting about. See, this is what's so stupid about our country right now. That when we do something and we do it with force and we do it in a strict way, everyone wants to battle. What are you doing it for? We're doing it because you broke the rules. We're not doing it because of what you're protesting about. So touching this subject makes people say, which side are you on? I ain't on either side. I'm on the side of this is unruly and this needs to move. That's all, Doc.
I'm on your side too. I think, you know, you're just braver than I am, and I'm maybe more PC and political. And I'm definitely on your side. And, you know, your shows never shut up. I mean, I'm just whispering a little bit, you know, but I'm with you. You got to do the right thing here. And look, let's get back to it. DEI, doesn't that include Jewish students too? I mean, come on. I mean, let's let everyone have a chance, and it's about the kids and people. You can do your protest, but you got to do it, you know, in different manners. So it's not so disruptive, and follow the laws of society.
I mean, duh. How simple was that? Like, okay, like that's almost like when they say somebody steals something. Oh, it's okay because they were hungry, or oh, they were doing it to feed their family. I'm like, no. There's other ways to go get that. There's other ways to protest.
I'll tell you another funny story that ties in baseball. At the end of the baseball season, Loyal Youth Baseball, they sell at an auction a Snack Shack grade. Like every kid loves a Snack Shack. So you win the auction, your kid gets like 30 seconds to go into the Snack Shack and take everything they want. Well, they're trying to clear out the Snack Shack at the end of the year anyways. Last year, we won it. My wife won it. We had the 3 kids in there, and I posted the video on Twitter, and it was hilarious, these kids driving all this stuff. And the comments I got, they were like, oh, I thought you were in LA and this was a convenience store. And this was like,
man, stop playing. Snatch and grab in LA.
Become the norm, you know? I mean, these are just little kids grabbing some candy bars from the Snack Shack.
Dog, do not let me run the police force, LAPD. I'm not lying. This is what would have happened. I was like, oh, y'all snatching and grabbing. Lock them up. And I'm giving them max sentences. Oh, that ain't enough? Now I'll go out there with some, like, I don't know, tear gas. What? Like, you are not about, these people, most are small business owners. Not talking about these major chains, but even them. You can't just go in there and take what you want, because then it's going to have the snowball effect. Trust me, I would have had some law and order out here. It would have been easy for me. All right, let's go a little rapid fire here. Calf injuries in the NBA playoffs. Why everybody's calves are on fire? What's going on, Doc?
Well, it's been a lot of them, and the Jamal Murray calf situation may be the one that's helping to sink the Denver Nuggets against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kristaps Porzingis has a calf issue. Giannis exited because of a calf issue. But I love personally how teams try to spin things. I talk about coach speak and team speak. Prior to these playoffs, has anyone ever heard of a soleus? Now, all of a sudden, everyone has a soleus strain. It's not I know you have, but
I'm the only guy.
In pitching in baseball, it's elbow tendonitis. It's not the only collateral, and then 3 weeks later, you hear it's the Tommy John, right? I mean, it's the spin of what goes on out there. But calf injuries are real, especially Jamal Murray, Kristaps Porzingis. It already got Giannis exited from the playoffs. And of course, the knee issue, like I told you weeks ago, got Kawhi and the Clippers, right? I mean, at least Kawhi didn't do much.
No, I get it, man. And we also see it. Look, there's still injuries, even though there's no football. Joe Burrow, how's he looking? He on track to come back and be Joe Burrow again?
The good news is all the major quarterback injuries seem to be tracking well. Aaron Rodgers was completely cleared, and like we said, that wasn't going to end his career, the calf, even though he's 39. Joe Burrow, even though it was an injury that never been seen before in football with the scapular ligament, is throwing the ball now. We always thought he would be fine. Deshaun Watson is on track to return from his posterior glenoid. Kirk Cousins isn't 100%. Yeah, they drafted a young kid, but his Achilles will be fine. And Anthony Richardson in his shoulder and his throwing shoulder AC joint. So some good news for the quarterbacks, at least headed towards and into the season. We'll see how long that lasts, though.
Okay, last but not least, let's end on a light note. Brady got roasted. Man, where was my invite? I would have got his. I didn't play with Brady. But Goodell wasn't there either. What's going on? What did you think about the Brady roast?
I stumbled onto it. I thought it was funny, and it was great. Yeah. My wife was, here we go, with my kid at basketball practice. I was home with the girls. My 7-year-old had an iPad on the couch. She was sitting on my lap. I'm watching the thing. All of a sudden, she goes, "Daddy, a lot of bad words." F with the N at the end. So I had to turn it off and rewatch it later after a while. Yeah. But I thought it was great. Here's the thing. The only thing notably missing was Goodell. Was he invited? Was he not invited? I'm just curious. I don't know. And if he would have shown up, who would have gotten more booze, Goodell or Kim Kardashian?
Oh, good point. Good point. They were trying to light Kim up, too. I was like, this is not her night. She's just there. But, yeah, man. Look, they went in on each other, which I love. Belichick took some, shot some. Kraft, everybody got some. It feels like you may go past the line with Goodell. Like, it almost will be brand damaging. It's like one thing to talk about Tom Brady. He done playing. He was already the GOAT. Great. Yeah. Goodell still actively runs the NFL. And I don't, like, even Brady, damn, I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm going to say it. They say quietly he has a little regret about doing it because his kids, like your child, had to hear about it. So now the kids are dealing with, oh, your dad did this and that, and they probably weren't privy to all of it, at least in that context and that color. So some were saying that Brady even you could tell he was kind of like, what did I sign up for? This is a whole lot. So I get it.
What, do you think he actually got very sensitive about Kraft? Was there a rule not to talk about Kraft?
No, I think that was all, hey, protect my future earnings as a legend of the franchise. Hey, I got this big Fox deal. I got everything else going on, but don't mess with my Patriots greatness. Because to me, that wasn't crossing the line. Kraft know everywhere he goes. He going to hear a Jergens joke. He going to hear something like that. Like, Kraft bigger than that, man. He ain't tripping on it. I think Brady was extra. He did the Will Smith. he got extra sensitive to take care of his. I was like, right.
No,
I appreciate you.
And obviously Gronk caught a lot of flack, and Randy Moss,
Yeah.
everyone caught a lot of flack, but they were part of the roast. The only thing I'd say about it is Kraft really was just in the audience. It's one thing if you're in the audience and the comedian heckles you a tiny bit, but if you're heckling the comedian, i.e. roasting the comedian, then you can get full blast. So maybe Kraft wasn't on stage. If he was on stage, I'd say have at it. He was kind of, came on for a little cameo toast. He really wasn't a roaster. So maybe that, in theory, in the rules of comedy and roasting, left him out a little bit as opposed to just randomly there.
Yeah, I get that. That is a great point. Well, next time, hang out and golf with Goodell. Wherever Goodell was golfing, he should have stayed there too, because you enter that building, it seemed like they were taking shots at you, man. Appreciate you, Dr. Child, man. We talk again next week. Let's do it, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. And guess what, y'all? That's it. That's how we roll around here. Thank you guys for checking out your boy. Never shut up. Check out hydration situation. See who's on my Mount Rushmore as an athlete, and watch me break down one of their epic performances. That's what we doing here, man. We coming together, having fun, and learning a thing or two. That's the game plan. I hope y'all have an amazing day. It's stinking in this room. I know I will.